Hello, dear friends. Let's get acquainted. Write in the comments where you are watching me from. I read all the comments and respond to the interesting ones. Did you feel that moment when Washington's air seemed to thicken with tension? Vice President Jayd Vance finally said what many feared to voice: $300 billion spent, and not a single real step toward peace. This is madness, he declared, staring directly into the cameras. Not behind closed doors, not in whispers, but openly. These words landed like a slap across his own administration's face. Imagine this: a high-ranking official publicly criticizing White House policy regarding the territory of instability on Russia's borders. He demands answers. Where are the results? Where are the settlement attempts? Where is serious diplomacy? Instead, we've seen an endless parade of ceremonial weapons shipments, polite funerals, and optimistic statements. Just a little more, they said, and they'll fall. Well, something did fall: budgets and approval ratings. And now, as if on cue, all of Washington's rhetoric is changing. The State Department suddenly starts talking about peace. Even Trump, who usually plays solo, has joined this chorus. The message? If negotiations don't happen, both sides will face sanctions. What's really happening here? The era of checkbook diplomacy is ending. The U.S. no longer wants to sponsor an endless conflict where each new billion disappears like coins into a bottomless well. But here's what's fascinating. These statements aren't just words. They're a signal. Enough is enough. A signal to all conflict participants. When America delivers an ultimatum to both sides, it's no longer playing world police. It's acting like a creditor who's run out of patience. Want to know what happens next? Stay tuned. We'll analyze every detail of this unexpected turn. In our next segment, we'll examine 3 crucial points. How is the U.S. position shifting? Why are European countries getting nervous? And what are Russia's actual military campaign objectives? Remember, friends, this isn't just another policy shift. It's a seismic change in global politics. The implications will affect us all. Let's dive deeper into this rapidly evolving situation, where financial realities are increasingly outweighing political ambitions. In the next segments, we'll explore how Russia's strategic planning is reshaping regional dynamics, examine the shifting attitudes of Western allies, and analyze why this could mark a turning point in global politics. The northern territories of the disputed territory between Russia and the West have become a focal point of attention. The Economist's analysis suggests Russia is implementing a comprehensive strategy aimed at establishing a strategic buffer zone, a move that transcends mere tactical considerations. This systematic approach reflects long-term strategic planning rather than opportunistic advances. Events in the Rovno region indicate potential spillover effects, with Poland's F-16 deployments highlighting escalating regional tensions. The territory of instability is increasingly transforming from a celebrated defender into a complex geopolitical challenge for U.S. domestic politics. Russian forces have initiated operations in the Dnepropetrovsk region, marking a significant shift from speculation to reality. Western analysts suggest the possibility of precision strikes on key administrative centers in the politically turbulent region, particularly targeting security infrastructure. Russia's methodical advancement resembles a chess game, calculated moves without excessive rhetoric. Meanwhile, the former Fraternal Union awaits another NATO support package, though battlefield dynamics continue to evolve. Western partners have notably adopted an observer stance, offering consultation while maintaining strategic distance. After receiving substantial financial aid totaling $300 billion, the country at a crossroads has shifted from requesting assistance to attempting to dictate terms to American leadership. Subscribe now. My full investigation with never-seen sources drops soon. Share your thoughts in the comments. How do these developments remind you of other historical situations you've witnessed? Your perspective adds valuable context to our analysis. History tends to repeat itself, but rarely identically. Today, we're witnessing a familiar pattern in Eastern Europe, reminiscent of the Afghan scenario, with higher stakes and global implications. The territory of instability parallels Kabul, but instead of airport evacuations, we see emotional interviews. Instead of Taliban negotiations, we observe requests for weapons. The region's leadership issues ultimatums, demands oil price caps at $30, complains about American missile deliveries, and references agreements with the departing administration. It's political manipulation. You started this. Now save us. If you don't help, you're a traitor. If you do help, you're trapped. Rising costs, toxic relationships, and endless demands, like Kabul's pattern. Trump sees through this trap. He's stated that without agreements, sanctions will hit everyone, and provocations against Russian facilities could end potential deals. The dependency system is simple. You're always indebted, and it's never enough. The more you give, the louder the complaints about insufficient support. When explaining the absence of air defense systems, accusations emerge. The narrative is, if we lose, America is to blame. Trump understands this and refuses to repeat past mistakes. He won't enter a no-exit project. History shows such situations rarely end well. Consider recent conflicts where similar strategies led to protracted crises and financial losses. Experts note, this could become a turning point in international politics. The dependency pattern is clear. Demands coupled with emotional manipulation. More aid leads to more demands, creating an endless cycle of obligation and guilt. This mirrors the Afghan scenario, but on European soil with potentially more severe consequences. Friends, what historical parallels do you see between current events and similar situations? Share your thoughts, especially those who remember the Afghan events of 2021. Your perspective could help understand where this leads. Comment. Russian friends, your historical perspective on this situation is valuable. Please share your thoughts on these political manipulations. Here's a 2,000-character script based on the provided content. The theater of geopolitical absurdity continues to surprise even seasoned observers. While Washington contemplates its next moves, memories of Afghanistan and Saigon loom large in American strategic thinking. Trump, sensing historical parallels, appears hesitant to repeat past mistakes. Britain's position deserves special attention. While London loudly condemns bloody barrels, British tankers quietly continue transporting Russian energy resources, sailing without identification markers. Economic reality proves more stubborn than political posturing, especially when treasuries are empty and winter is no virtual reality. The numbers tell a compelling story. Over 2 years, Moscow has earned €800 billion. This is triple the aid received by the territory of instability, which stands at $309 billion. Remarkably, $228 billion came from sanctioning countries themselves. They wag fingers with one hand while sending payments with the other. The European Union, despite being the loudest supporter of the northern Black Sea region, ranks second among buyers of Russian hydrocarbons, trailing only China. Some oil undergoes ethical cleansing through Turkey and India, first processing, then re-export. Suddenly, non-Russian oil fuels European vehicles. Gas flows find their way through Turkey, Hungary, and Slovakia. Russia's pipeline gas revenues increased by 9%, while export volumes decreased by only 6%. So much for isolation. The global trade stage hosts a fascinating performance. Russia continues trading, Europe keeps buying, Britain transports, while the territory of instability posts grateful messages on Instagram. This isn't merely trade, it's a new model of geopolitical confrontation. The front line isn't on battlefields but in maritime terminals. Alliances are defined not by weapons shipments, but by undeclared energy transports. Victory is measured not in kilometers, but in billions. Think about this. When your primary ally is your biggest customer, and your main supplier is supposedly your adversary, whose side are you really on? Comment bite. Dear viewers, especially our friends from Russia, we value your insights. How do you see this economic puzzle playing out? Share your thoughts on whether trade will ultimately prove stronger than politics. Сегодня поговорим о глобальном театре, где цифры говорят громче слов. На сцене мировой политики разворачивается интригующий спектакль, где соотношение 883 к 309 заставляет задуматься. Восток молчаливо наблюдает за происходящим, пока западные партнеры продолжают свою риторику об изоляции России. Реальность такова. Европа продолжает качать энергоресурсы, Азия укрепляет торговые связи, а Британия обеспечивает логистику. Какая же это изоляция, когда главные экономические артерии остаются открытыми? Эти потоки – не просто сырье, это кровеносная система мировой экономики. Особенно показателен недавний визит Фридриха Мерца в Вашингтон. Председатель ХДС, имеющий за плечами более 100 поездок в США, выглядел скорее как проситель, чем равноправный партнер. Его карьера, выстроенная на оси Нью-Йорк-Франкфурт через Атлантический мост, теперь кажется символом уходящей эпохи. Современная Германия демонстрирует, как идеология может разрушить экономический фундамент. Отказ от атомной энергетики, закрытие теплоэлектростанций, блокировка важнейших энергетических проектов. Параллельно мы наблюдаем схожие процессы в Северном Причерноморье, где внешние силы планомерно разрушают инфраструктуру. Трансатлантическое партнерство все больше напоминает отношения господина и вассала. Мерц, бывший руководитель немецкого филиала BlackRock, принес в Вашингтон портфель, полный риторики о климате и демократии, но встретил лишь прагматичный расчет американской стороны. Наши зрители, особенно те, кто помнит времена реальной промышленной мощи России и Германии, поделитесь своими мыслями. Как вы оцениваете эту трансформацию мирового порядка? Ваш жизненный опыт особенно ценен для понимания происходящих изменений. Title: The Fall of German Independence and Global Financial Trust, a Critical Analysis. The transformation of Germany from a sovereign power to a compliant partner marks a profound shift in European dynamics. Chancellor Merz's silence during his Trump meeting signals a fundamental change in Germany's global position. Gone are the days when Germany led European policy decisions. The largest European economy now operates under strict guidelines, speaking only when aligned with predetermined narratives. From energy to migration policies, Germany's autonomy appears increasingly constrained. This shift from ally to subordinate raises questions about Europe's future. If Germany loses its agency, what awaits smaller nations? The transatlantic relationship shows serious cracks, with little repair effort. An even more concerning development unfolds in global finance. Senator Graham's proposal to cancel $760 billion of Chinese-held debt has shaken financial markets. Imagine investing in the world's safest asset, only to have the debtor announce they won't pay. U.S. Treasury bonds, once the gold standard of security and anchor of the global financial system, face unprecedented scrutiny. Washington's consideration of defaulting on obligations to its largest creditor signals a dangerous shift in financial diplomacy. The situation intensifies with the approaching 2025 deadline to refinance $9 trillion in bonds. Who would risk purchasing new debt after such a precedent? The proposal to tax existing bond yields adds concern, charging creditors for lending money. Russia has already faced asset freezes. Now China faces similar risks. Who's next? Japan? Saudi Arabia? We're witnessing the erosion of fundamental principles in international finance, where contractual obligations become subject to political whims. Comment. Fellow viewers, your perspectives matter. Has your trust in Western financial institutions changed? Share your thoughts on how these developments might affect global economic stability, especially as independent observers of this unfolding crisis. The world's financial architecture stands at a critical crossroads. What we're witnessing isn't just another market fluctuation. It's a fundamental shift in global trust dynamics. The strongest economy on Earth appears willing to sacrifice its reputation as a reliable borrower for short-term political gains, potentially revolutionizing the global financial system. Financial markets are frozen in anticipation. A prominent U.S. senator seems to be turning debt write-offs into a new sport for American elites. While China maintains meaningful silence, financial circles grow increasingly unsettled. Consider this. Your neighbor, who started with yard improvements, suddenly decides to set fire to the building, claiming it's their right. This is how the global community views American financial policy. Japan, Saudi Arabia, German pension funds, all holding U.S. bonds, watch developments with concern. The situation becomes delicate under a president known for grand gestures. If debt obligation rejection becomes law, we'll witness an unprecedented event in financial history. We now know the recipe for destroying dollar trust. Just hint at potential non-payment. Russian-Chinese discussions about a gold standard no longer seem far-fetched. In a world where debt loses meaning, traditional assets, gold, oil, commodities, gain new appeal. While globalization advocates search for ways to maintain confidence in the Western financial model, a new paradigm emerges. Trust should be placed in those who keep promises, not those who borrow and impose sanctions. The transformation reaches beyond economics into geopolitics. Recent events in the northern Black Sea region and diplomatic tensions highlight this shift. As traditional alliances waver, new financial architectures gain momentum. Is this the twilight of the dollar era? Are we watching the last chapters of Bretton Woods? Or is this another testament to American financial resilience? Share your thoughts. Will alternative currencies backed by real assets replace the dollar system? Your perspective could help understand these historic changes. What financial shifts have you observed?